We're joined now by junior doctor, Dr. Ally Jaffee. Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
It is alarming to hear the understandable state that our medical professionals are in. You posted a picture of yourself on a ward, extremely tearful. Just tell us a little bit about why you were upset, what your experiences were, and what the reaction's been to that post as well.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for having me here this morning. So I'm a junior doctor and I'm working on a surgical ward at the moment. And last week was the first time, I think, in 9 months on the job that it just all felt a bit too much and very overwhelming. It was midweek and I had the longest patient list I'd had. And my baseline was already a little bit lower. Physically, I wasn't feeling 100%, but I didn't want to let my team down because of how long the patient list was if I were to go off ill that day. And there were just a lot of different conflicts that do happen day to day. And, on the receiving end of a bit of shouting, I feel I was under pressure as well. So I remember feeling I was scared about making a mistake and I was worried about how much I was balancing. And so there just reached a stage where I just found it all a bit much and I had my first cry on the job. And I just decided in that moment, after reflecting on it, that I wanted to share it with other healthcare professionals and people aspiring to be in the healthcare profession because...
Dr. Jaffee,
yes.
I totally get that. But what we want to do is put this right. What you want to do is put this right. I have no idea whether reducing your patient list by recruiting more colleagues around you, by paying you more, I have no idea what would make a difference. What would, if anything, make a difference?
Yeah, so on that day, I think it would have been better if we had all kind of had training around how to keep communication really solid, even under pressure. And I think that's something you just trial and error when you're on the job. You don't really know how best to work in a team, especially a team that's really under pressure. You're just kind of trialing and erroring it. And in terms of, you're never going to have less patients and we want to be able to serve the population as great as possible. But I think it's about having as cohesive and supportive of a team. And I think that's more of a culture change that should start in medical school and onwards, talking about how it's okay to say you're struggling, it's okay to communicate with your seniors that you're finding it a bit challenging, can I go take a 5-minute break? Because at the moment the culture is just carry on until you kind of break down, which is something that I'm really passionate about being proactive about and changing the dialogue slightly.
And of course, look, if Eamon and I have a bad day, so what? If we make a mistake on air, it's embarrassing, but we'll get over it. If you make a mistake, if you have a bad day...
the stakes are high.
You've got a huge responsibility not only to your patients, but to their families as well. And people trust... We only have to look at what's happening on the front of every newspaper this morning. All these mothers going in, trusting the NHS and being let down. Huge responsibility on your shoulders.
Absolutely.
Do you worry about the state of the NHS, the future of the NHS? And does it frustrate you, as so many doctors tell us it frustrates them, that it's left in the hands of politicians who always, naturally, are in an electoral cycle thinking about getting re-elected?
I think as an individual and speaking to my colleagues as well, it is worrying, what the future of the NHS holds, especially because we're seeing such a high demand post-COVID, and also we're in a mental health crisis as well, and that's an area I'm very passionate about, with services largely underfunded and wait lists to see, therapists, psychiatrists going down to next year. So I am worried about the state of the NHS, but at the moment all we can do is carry on and try and make change where we can. So for instance, having conversations showing that it's okay to struggle and to talk openly about your colleagues and candidly, even with your patients sometimes, I think can really help give more compassion to the profession and make people understand.
Thanks for outlining it, Dr. Jaffee. And as Isabel says, there's lots of places where we can take a hit and people's stamina and whatever can wane, but not in your profession. And I say that today because I have a very close friend who's undergoing a massive operation today, which Isabel knows about. And, you can only hope, pray and trust that the team are on top form, and it is so important that people like you and your colleagues are on top form. So thank you for outlining. I hope things change.
Yes, likewise. And I think it's just so important to show that vulnerability can be strength. When I posted that photo, I really wanted to show aspiring medical students and current doctors that it is okay to talk about your struggle.
But it's not always about funding. It's not always about more money.
It's just about greater understanding, compassion, that there is a person behind the profession.
Yes.
We're also human.
You're not a machine.
And also, exactly, we're not machines. Absolutely.
Although it won't be long before they have machines do it. That's
well,
true.
I hope.
You look at surgery, they will have robots.
Yeah, robotic surgery. Absolutely.
But look, there you are. We're full of respect for you doing what you do. There's a woman that does a real job. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And what we don't want to see is people like Dr. Ally deciding it's too much to stay in, that we want them to stick it, and we don't want a brain
It's
drain.
the most wonderful profession to be a part of. There are culture changes and, as you've said, resource changes that need to happen.
Okay.
Dr. Ally Jaffee, thank you.